She works hard for the money, so hard for the money. I work hard for the money, so you better treat me right.
Don't play no shit. You feel me?
Hello, hello. Welcome in. TGIF. It is January 19th, 2024. Glad to see everybody here. I got some things to go over today. Welcome in, everyone. Please hit that like button on the way in. Even the lurkers in the back, the haters. Just because it's Mercury retrograde doesn't mean you gotta hate. Show some love. Nico Jap, good to see you. Irish. Ship D, Widow, good to see you, honey. Crime Story Diva, popcorn, and M&Ms. I'm hungry. Thank you for reminding me to get some snacks today, because I'm out. Good to see you, everybody. If I missed you, sorry about that. Again, welcome in. Glad you're here. Oh, Dandy Lioness, actually got the notification. It's about time, y'all. I don't know why YouTube hates me, but Julia T, my girl. And Shani, of course. And thank you, Earth, for the shout out. Appreciate that. All right, so let's get into it. Lord help me. So I see that Stacy went on Dolly Vision's panel. No, I didn't have any idea that was happening. Not that I really care. I am not the keeper of Stacey Wondra. Just because he's on my panel does not mean that I dictate or know what the hell is going on in that man's life. He is he's on his own. However, I do know that, getting out of prison and not having any funds, I'm sure he will take whatever he can get. And if that means doing interviews, he's going to do it. From the research I've done, that's the type of person he is. He's chasing that paper, y'all. Dollar bills. I do know that the place that he was staying, so there was some drama this morning in Brooks from Crime Lines and Lies. You know how we're besties one day and then scorned lovers the next. Today we are scorned lovers, probably for the remainder of YouTube. We'll see. But, when I'm trying to listen objectively and openly and not have my fees involved, I try to stay focused. But sometimes when I hear stuff like, in regards to Michael Vaughan's case being discussed, I'm like, if I hear one more time about somebody's sexual escapades, meaning the suspects, if I hear one more time about the JJs and BJs and all of the disgusting things that I would never want in the live regarding Michael, and I'm only doing it right now, of course, because I have to explain myself. If you were over there and saw me throwing some shade, I was just, I'm sick of it. It's
what
gross.
If we're still doing this when we're 50?
It would be nice to have that kind of job security.
It would also be nice. Thank you so much for coming back on to my members, One Life to Live. I have got a lot of work to do on that, but it is coming. I promise this time. Trust me. That live was misguided. Chris, good to see you listening while at work. Good deal. Thank you. Mercury retrograde. Well, that explains a lot. Yeah. I think it's at the ass end of it, but sometimes it can get a little squirrely. Having said that, getting back on track. So I just get really, really down when I hear nonsense. I tried to keep away from the drama and all the crap on the interview with Stacy. And I think I did a pretty good job until Callie Dime came in here trying to say some things in my chat. And I called her ass out. And that's that. But I'm just sick of it. I'm sick of the shit show. I'm sick of it. And I don't know how anybody in their right mind could be okay with that. You know, if they were related to Monkey in a sense and saw that. Like, I just, my mind is blown. Maybe I'm just too harsh on that kind of stuff. But, you know, keep Michael's name out your motherfucking mouth unless it's to advocate for him, right? That's maybe how I feel. Maybe I'm Will Smithing this. So I apologize if I feel a little angsty, angry. Because I do mean well and I do want Michael found. Michael could be any one of our little boys. I have a little boy his age. When he disappeared, it scares the ever living daylights out of me. I've got literally, I know where he is at all times. I know where everybody is at all times in my family, immediate family. So yeah, it means a lot to me that his justice is found and his family gets him returned home one way or the other. Hi, Mr. Eve. He didn't know I was going live. Hi, Mr. Eve. Spiritual being. Hey, everyone. Here to hear all perspectives. I'm glad you're here. No shade to anybody in the chat. From Brooks, if you're here just listening, unless you were talking shit, then let me get my little beep beep. Let me get my little beep beep. Eat a bag of. That's all. Having said that, oh, wait.
Never been about that. Never been about playing no shit.
One of my favorite movies of all time. So, now we move on. The biggest thing that I'm going to take away from what I heard on Dolly's, if you haven't watched it, please do so. It was, I'm going to be real with you. The same questions were answered that I asked. It was the same interview with a little bit of a twist. The new information that came from Dolly's Live was that Brandon, once at the Kuna residence, when they were getting the tow, he went and did some laundry real fast. 15 minutes, Stacy says. I don't think that that's even possible unless you're literally just hand washing it and put it, I don't know. And he wasn't inside his home, from what I understand, to even know, but there was a duffel bag with the clothes. We don't know the ins and outs. Brandon should be able to answer that pretty easily if or when he ever decides to interview with anyone else in the future. I don't see a big bombshell, although everyone was like, oh my God, a duffel bag with clothes. He was washing the evidence away. Well, maybe, I don't know. Or he was just getting some fucking laundry. I don't know. I'm not going to speculate unless his duffel bag shows up in the evidence log. It's kind of silly. We focus on silly things sometimes, even myself. So I wanted to show you guys, because a lot of people were like, well, what if the gun that Stacy sold in April of 2022, what if that has something to do with Monkey? And I thought, well, okay, let me explain what I know to be true about that, because it may be relevant. It may be, potentially, possibly. Let me upload it real quick. I forgot to do that. And we'll get into it. I think it's important. So in April 13th of 2022, on Sarah and Stacey Wondra's anniversary, there was a dog bone incident being thrown by Stacy to a friend, Tanner Butler, who was staying there. He said, ow, ow, that hurts. And then she goes, I'm going to show you something, and puts a gun to his face and says, get out of my house, you punk ass. And he's like, I'm going to call the cops on you. I've had crazy people put guns in my face, but nothing like this. And I was like, whoa, Tanner, what kind of life are you living? So anyway, Sarah tries to hide the gun at her mom's house, which is down the street. And they find it. She goes to jail, and that's why she's serving her sentence as we speak. And the news has stated, and JD Huff has stated, that it was unrelated to Michael Vaughn, but people were not convinced. Understandably, because this case is wild, to say the least. So we're going to just cover that real quick because I have emails lined up about that stuff. And if we can, clear it up, why not? Maybe there is something that could be taken from that, right? I don't know. All right. So here is the factual basis of Stacey Wondra's federal gun charge. All right. Should be able to see this. Okay. The defendant admits the following facts are true. On April 12th, 2022, the defendant went to Bighorn Gunsmithing in New Plymouth and sold a Savage Arms Model 93R17 17 caliber rifle bearing this serial number and 7 boxes of this ammunition. The defendant sold this rifle to the owner of the Bighorn Gunsmithing for $475. He needed some money. Why did he need money? Why this day? This was the day before, by the way, the day before Sarah went to jail for the dog bone incident. So the defendant knowingly possessed his firearm and the ammunition. So what was going on? What was so heated in the house the next day for everyone to be so wilding out, if you will, right? What was y'all doing? Why so serious? Well, I'm going to open or show you guys that definitely the day after Sarah was arrested, there was a 911 call for fraud at the Bighorn gunsmithing shop. There was a call for fraud because you're not supposed to sell a rifle as a felon. And I don't know if he actually had the rights or had the papers on it, if you will. How could one do that if they were eligible to have one in the first place? So when did this rifle come into contact with Stacy? I have yet to confirm. I don't think I asked him just yet or forgot to, but I am planning on it. But from my understanding, in October of 2021, there was a Facebook post, interaction, if you will, of a rifle, but the details are unknown. So I don't know. He'll have to answer that. So I think he's busy trying to find a new place to live. I don't know. I'm just saying he's a little busy right now. And he told Brooks, I ain't got time for your shenanigans. I can't talk right now. I'm trying to find a place to live. It's Boise, Idaho. It's negative what? Or not negative, but it's really cold and snowing and all that shit. So I will get back to you on the where did he get it originally. It states in the documents that it was bought through Connecticut, like internationally, but it really doesn't state who initiated it. I think it assumes that it was Stacy. I don't know. I'm going to have to verify it. I mean, it does say that, but I don't want to mince that. So moving on. So April 12th, 13th, and 14th was a damn wild ride, y'all. It really was. And I think that Tanner being there kind of, it's always been a thing for me. Why? What happened? What the hell happened? You don't put some gun in somebody's face without a reason, I guess. And if you're psycho, you're psycho. She was off of her meds. She's schizophrenic bipolar. And I don't want to speak for Sarah, even if she has these mental health issues. But why was the dysfunction going on? I also wanted to point out that Sarah Wondra, she was in jail and she got out on release in July of 2022. All right. July of 2022. She was trying to do good, be on the up and up, but she was being harassed like nobody's business. I mean, they would not leave this girl alone, whoever it was. And she became very psychotic, in my opinion, and paranoid. Her TikToks were more frequent, more erratic, crying one day. She was not on her meds, obviously not on her meds. And one has to think, if you're being pushed to the limits or being harassed or whatever, or not, what is going on in her life and who else is still showing up? All right. There were people at the home after Sarah was arrested. And allegedly they both went by the name Sammy. One was Samuel, but the other one wasn't. It was a fancier name, if you will. And they were arrested. Well, at least I heard both were arrested there, but I do know for a fact female Sammy was. Somebody actually saw her recently the other day and not looking too good. And I've always wondered, what did they see? Because this was in May of 2022 when just a month after this, the babysitter gets a call from a detective saying, somebody is saying that Stacy got that picture on her Facebook from you, ma'am. What say you? And she goes, who is that? I don't even know who you're talking about. Everybody was sharing that photo and everybody was putting it on their Facebook, which they were, multiple. But it looked suspicious to the family. And I do want to kind of know, like, if the sister of MJ's father knew about Stacy being on the radar, wouldn't everybody else in the family? I don't know. I've never gotten that confirmation. And I guess it doesn't matter. But, it was a shock, right? Brody states, I've never heard of this person. I don't know who they are. If they're on the radar with the sister of Tyler Vaughn, then where did they not tell you? It's just something that's been on my mind. And maybe that's, not the connection between the two, but that is something that was kind of held quiet, which is good. Harassment from whom? It was a Google number that they couldn't trace that was basically photoshopping and making all of these collages of Sarah from old back in the day posts or text messages or whatever. I don't know where exactly, but of her being provocative, if you will. And they were saying, if you don't talk to me, I'm going to put these out on the interwebs for you to be shamed. Ironically, I know people around the case, one that commented in my YouTube comment section recently, she used to pull that shit, and people around her, they used to make fake profiles, dating profiles to shame people and all that. So it just really irked me. But the police were like, well, we can't track this phone number. Let us know if it happens again. Don't be sending your nude booties out. And so that spiraled. And she did a TikTok confirming, I had a past. I did this, but that doesn't make me who I am today. So the police reports that I have received versus the 911 call log versus her TikToks all come into play that she's not lying. Her TikToks and the things that I know to be true are consistent with what she is saying. I don't care about the other stuff right now, like anything else, who she was banging and all that crap. What I'm telling you is I know that what she's saying and what she has expressed on her Facebook stuff is true when she's speaking about herself and her experience during that time. Now, could you go and look it up? Yes. Could I put it on here? Sure. But I'm not. I'm not. It's not going to do any bit of good for Michael because that's not what this is about. Lucia, Williamson, hi, honey. Yeah, facts do matter. Facts absolutely matter. And BJs and golden vaginas do not. Could care less. Wait, there's a connection between Michael's family and someone that was staying at the Wondras, the Sammy girl. Sorry, I'm catching up. I don't know if there's a connection, but I do know, the Tanner Butler thing. There are family members that are connected. Absolutely. However, we don't know. Tanner Butler hasn't been named as a suspect. So we can't really say anything one way or the other. I do know that he's kind of been in and out of the jail up there in Washington. But I digress. That's his business. But she's a named suspect. Right. So what has everybody been doing with these named suspects besides me? Shaming, degrading, worrying about their personal business in a sense of relationships, shaming, taking away from Michael, how it relates. Do the research, and if there's something that relates, sure, let's speculate. But if it has nothing to do with him, and there's nothing to say otherwise, why do we want to rehash that? That's gross. I have better things to do, right? You have better things to do. Right. Very interesting. Filing that away in my brain in case it's relevant. Right. Perfect. That's exactly what I would assume my audience would do and not say guilty. Stacy, Sarah wanted a kid and she couldn't have one with Stacy. So Brandon, he tried to get one from Brandon. It wasn't working. She took Michael. There is no evidence or no speculation worthy event that has happened in real time or then that even remotely says that is a possibility at all. Again, April 2022, they searched that crawl space for the gun that Sarah hid. They found an empty box. Me thinks that when he sent when Stacey Wondra sold that gun to New Plymouth, things were rolling already. Boom. I think they were already looking. I really do think that maybe the FBI or the state police or even Fruitland or all of them were looking already. Because listen, so sells the gun on the 12th of April, 2022. 13th, fight ensues. Get out of my house. You're going to get gatted. Here's a dog bone for your motherfucking ass. She goes to jail. Next day, the fraud call comes from the gun sale. And here we go. Baby, it just keeps rolling. People are coming in and out of the house while they're in jail from, April on to July that you don't hear about. And they seem to be doing just fine. Have no idea. Don't share nothing about Michael. Won't respond. Blocks me. Oh, that's not sus at all. So who do we know was around, let's say, during this specific time? The Sammys. The two Sammys. We're just going to call them that because that was their nickname, Sammy and Sammy. One was Samuel. One was a fancier name. Female was a fancier name. And we don't know where the hell they are. I think one of them's locked up. And again, the other one is not doing too well from what I have been told. And Randy Strickland. Now, Randy Strickland. I have not brought this up or asked Stacy to dive into it because he has answered this before, that Randy was just a friend. He was there because he had a DUI charge when he wrecked his RV. He was toting his RV and bad shit. I don't know when, where, how, and all that stuff about him doing that. But I know that when Sarah was trying to get out on supervised release or whatever it's called, that was one of the contentions in the court that at Randy's, because they have to go to your home and make sure everything's kosher. And Randy was sitting up in there and she was like, who's that? I don't know who that is. Who's that? And I went, huh? How do you not know who this Randy is? Because Brandon has said that that was his buddy. He's been over. They've hung out. Maybe Sarah had a lapse in judgment and forgot. She has called herself Stacy before. I digress. What's going on there? Have they been spoken to? Are they clear? Are they suspect? What's going on there? Why aren't their lives being broadcasted out into the world on a poster board? Adrien allegedly was not there. He had left, within that 2-3 week time frame around Monkey's disappearance. But we do know Brandon was arrested in May of 2022 as well at that home. The two Sammys. Everybody was getting arrested left and right. Left and right. Randy gets kicked out by Sarah's mother because she's the one that owns the house and says, go and get, because she's got to come out into a home that doesn't have no strangers in it. That was her conditional release demands. I'm going to check in the chat because I'm seeing some stuff. Jules, I'm so proud of you. You're a strong and amazing woman. Cool. That's right. It's about Michael. That's right. And the dogs are wrong. Well, okay. Gaelic, you have been like just riding my ass to just want to be a certain way and think a certain way and feel a certain way like everybody else. I pride myself in not doing that. Nothing that you have brought to my attention tells me that I should sway one way or the other. I would really like for Fruitland PD to clear the parents. You have stated many times that they are, because JD Huff stated they're not a focus of the investigation. I wish that meant cleared. It's not. Those are just PR words anyway. Suspects can turn into cleared. Cleared people can turn into suspects. It doesn't matter until you're charged. So let's cut that out. Focus on what we can look at. No problem, Shady. Thank you for being here. How often do I speak to Brady? I don't do that. Remember, please be respectful in chat. Mr. Eve says, everyone that's here, thank you for being here and supporting this channel. If I haven't said hi to you, well, hello, everyone. Isn't he a sweetheart? Such a sweetheart. Have you tried to get Brandon or Adrien on your platform? Not really. Not really. Not Brandon. No. I usually don't. And I've always stated that I don't like the interview thing. I don't like putting suspicious people or suspects of a criminal investigation on my platform. However, this is a little different. And I did make an exception. And I fought it really hard. That's why I wanted JLR to do it. Because I do have a confliction, a moral confliction to do so on my platform. However, this is for Michael. And I made a decision. And I felt that was right. Chloe, with all due respect, Eve doesn't have a side. The only side she's on is Michael's. Absolutely. And if you don't think that I side-eyed and gave some attitude to Stacy asking questions, believe I did. Believe it. And there's things that I do find suspicious still. It's about Michael. That's it. Yes, JD Huff is the chief of police. Correct. Cursed with curiosity. I just heard of this gym bag today. I'd like to know more about it. How did it come about? I think that Dolly covering it pointed it out. It's a duffel bag that Brandon had his clothes that he washed or dried or whatever it may be. How about this? Let's just think. Because he doesn't know. He just knows that there was a duffel bag and he assumed that he washed his clothes. Because he was only there 15 minutes to get the tow, the car hooked up to the strap. Doesn't take long at all. So maybe he threw his clothes in the dryer or washer, but then went and grabbed some more clothes so that he could come back, put them in the dryer, or call mom and say, hey, Ma, the meatloaf. and put the clothes in the dryer for me. I'll pick them up tomorrow. What? Who cares? Unless that duffel bag shows up in the backyard along with some DNA evidence that suggests Michael was really back there. And if you let me know if or when that happens, please tell me, right? And I'm not being ugly to you, Curse. I'm just saying, like, we can't speculate on stuff that, we don't know what to do with. We can talk about it, and that's no problem. But where are we going to go with that until they speak or something comes out about it, right? That's just what I'm saying. So, I've said a lot. The other thing that I did find interesting in Dolly's interview in particular was that they had stopped at a stoplight or a stop sign or something like that, and Sarah went out to pee. He has said this before, but he didn't say that it was there. Like I think he said that he stopped on the side of the road, and the strap split or broke, and he had to tie it and rig it so that he could get home. Here's my question to everyone. They said that when they were coming into the neighborhood with that strap tow with the burgundy GMC truck, why did anybody see that when they were searching out there? Did anybody see them roll up? Was there any witnesses at all or a CCTV footage see them roll up? It would have been on there. Now, I do want to say that I'm going to share this later, but I have seen some things recently that actually prove some of the things that Stacy has said. Either he didn't realize he had it or he was holding it close to the vest. I don't know. Maybe he didn't think about it. He's got a lot on his mind right now, being homeless soon. But it's starting to look like he's telling the truth about certain things. And I think that that's the whole point. If you're going to say on these interviews what you know and what you believe to be true about the timeline, you're going to have to show the receipts. And I had that talk with him. As long as it doesn't affect Michael's case, if you're saying you're innocent and you were here and you were there, you're going to have to show some receipts like the taxi ride deposit. How did you get paid for that? Maybe he wasn't thinking about it. Maybe he thought, I don't have that. Well, if you want to be innocent and stay out of jail and you are innocent and you didn't do this, you will show them. And I just, let them know that. Checking in with chat again. Welcome in, everyone. Please, again, hit those thumbs up on the way in. Thank you for being here. Yes, thank you. Tony, yes, I would be freaking out with a tied toe strap. Listen, I have actually seen my dad do this. It was, God, what was it? A flat tire on a trailer, I think. And it had the actual car on it, but the trailer had a flat tire. So we had to leave the trailer wherever it was, take the damn car off and toe strap it. Scariest ride of my life. Because there was a 2-hour drive on highway. Scariest time of my life. You have to be on your game when you're driving. So for Sarah to be driving on that day, wow. Goodness. So, checking in with chat again before we move on. Let's not fight in the chat. It's not about who's right and who's wrong and who should be doing what and look, I think it's a universal agreement that we should not be talking about explicit things such as people's personal relationships in that way, making fun of it and making fun of what people are saying off of the live. I think it's very clear that we shouldn't be doing that if it's about Michael. Michael deserves better than that. People are going to be seeing this. His family members see this, I'm sure. I think it's just disgusting and we shouldn't do that. I don't care who said it. One of the suspects said it. Don't repeat it. Period. That's just where I'm coming from. Is it possible for his wife is stopping him from speaking the truth? Maybe. I mean, I don't think Stacy gives a shit. He'll say what he says. He did mention this. I do want to bring this up. He said that they provided video or audio clips of people around him saying that they feel Stacy had something to do with it. And I'm assuming that is because they talked to them first and gave them some information. And then they were like, well, if it was anyone, it was Stacy, because Stacy and Sarah were fighting. Of course she was going to be like that mother. Let me get my beep beep. That mother is not real. Right? Airplane woman. Get it? So, hey, Connie, yes. Well, Jules, you got 150 videos of Michael Vaughn that I have on my playlist to watch if you want to catch up. It's a lot. So just calm down and listen. We're all friends here. Sorry, I'm new here. What's Dolly? Dolly Vision is a creator. Jimmy Jams TV. He did an interview with Stacy last night. But really, it's a repeat of mine with a few extra details, and I don't see a huge thing. But if I'm wrong, please, let me know. I would love to, who I would love to hear from? Adrien. I did a little bit more research on Adrien yesterday. Have y'all seen Adrien? Actually seen him? What he looks like, how he walks and talks? It's definitely not the walking man, I can tell you that right now. He is absolutely not. Oh, and by the way, the laundry business. I don't think that ever really, this laundry business, she would do the laundry that they started on July 11, 2021. They would do it at the Laundry Basket, which is, I think, on either Kansas or Utah, which is about 2 minutes away, drive. I don't think it lasted very long. So a lot of people were like, well, she started a laundry basket business and the evidence was washed away. Who knows? How are we going to speculate? We won't. We can't. Can't do it. I'm pulling up something. Okay, that was the gas leak. I've already talked about the gas leak 911 call. 1 second. We already talked about Labor Day. We can only go so far with that until I get more information. Now, I did confirm. So, this is from JLR Investigates. This is his footage driving past 1102 Redwing and 1100 Redwing. And you remember the light bar? They took Carson Starkey's truck with a light bar on it with a ladder rack. Well, there you go. There she is. And this is the house as of, I believe, December of 2022, maybe January. So if you have if you needed to know, there it is. Brandy Neal states that she saw this out there looking for Michael down by the river area. But, the ditch, or not the ditch, but when you go all the way down Southwest 8th and it turns into the dirt roads towards the river, that. I'm going to check in my chat because it's a flying. I want you to ask questions and let's speculate reasonably. For the love of God, reasonably. Britt, Widow, I appreciate that. I couldn't imagine this happening. I do appreciate how Eve took time to question and listen. Same as DV and CLL. Everyone is doing what they feel, I hope, is helpful. I think that at the end of the day, we do want to get the answers. We just have different tactics. And sometimes I just, I don't want disrespect on Michael's name doing it, but it's her channel and she's right. But it hurts my heart for Michael when I hear shit like that over there on CLO. I would love to hear from Adrien. I'm not scared to talk to any of these people. However, I don't want this case to be boofed, right? So there is some responsibility, which is why I get mad at CLL, because sometimes it's just outrageous, some of the things I hear. But laundry and car work, right? Wait, they did laundry business. So wait, why did Brandon need to go to his mama's for his laundry? Well, okay, hold on. He lived there at his mama's house. Everybody, please understand this, please. Brandon went over to the house to make money in the taxi business. He didn't constantly live at that house. Think of it as a landing pad for Brandon. Everywhere he went was a landing pad until he took off for the next adventure. His main place was Kuna. Everywhere else was his landing pad. Can we clear that up once and for all? Great. Wonderful. So, yes, he was technically a roommate because he stayed there a lot when he was probably working or whatever, but that's what Brandon said. That's what Brandon and Stacy have said. Okay. So I would assume that him doing laundry is 100% normal. It's his mama's house. Do you get questioned when you do laundry at your mama's house? Probably not. However, you're not a suspect in a missing child's case, so I get it. However, would you make a suspicious claim if your brother came over to do some laundry at their mama's house? No. Yes, a lot of people don't know a lot. He lived there. So when everyone's like, why did he go to his mama's, sissy la boy? You were running for your mama because you felt guilty about doing something nefarious? No. Lord Jesus, no. He lived there and had lived there off and on for years. Now, they did search his mama's home in Kuna. And I don't know if they found anything. They didn't have a search warrant to find anything, which has given a lot of credibility to Stacy's alleged false tip. I'm not going to say how I feel either way, because it's still suspicious. And I told him it was fucked up. Yes, I said it. Oh, forgot my beep beep. That is up to do. It really is. I wouldn't, but I do understand the whole interrogation thing, the claim. I do. Period. People false confess all the time. Absolutely. Absolutely. I just want everybody to get their mindset right. Because look, I've learned this lesson. If you're sitting and waiting in the bushes for your idea or what you think happened to come, it'll come. But it won't be the right way. If you just leave everything up on the table, leave no stone unturned, as JD Huff says. And every law enforcement officer will say that because that's in the FBI handbook for when a child goes missing. That's what you say to the public. Quentin Simon, the chief of police, said that too. I digress. Leave it all open. Listen to what you're hearing. Ask questions. Put it together for yourself. Make a decision if you want. Whatever. Pigeonholing yourself will not do anyone a bit of good, especially Michael Vaughn. And I feel like that should be radiated into the Fruitland Police Department right now, unless I'm full of shit and I don't know what I'm talking about, and they have the evidence that would just nail him. Where's the charges, though? He is a good-looking man. He is a good-looking man. If I had to go up to the, police every day, if I had to go to the police department every day and I had to look at him, I wouldn't be mad. Not at that. But he is a very handsome man. I like it when he says, it didn't yield. It isn't yielding. And he does get a little angry. I like his little angry pounding his little hands on the... Anyway, how did we get here? Talking about Hottie Huff. Goodness Lord. All right. So again, I showed you the picture of that truck. Now we also need to look at The Mercedes. I like saying it like that because that's how Southern people say it. Mercedes. There it is. Hello, hello. It has had some work done on it. It looks a lot better than it used to. And when you see what it used to look like, you're going to be like, oh no, oh my. Because it did give me pause and made me think, what in the hell happened to this Mercedes? So we're gonna look it up the old-fashioned way on maps. You know, Brooke gave me hell on this because Brandy Neal asked her in the chat or asked openly, Brandon, where's this alleged car towing on this day and that day and what day? Right? Well, I tried to be nice and say, this happened on that day. It happened. Had to have. So there's Sarah's car, the blue Toyota Corolla that they were riding in Nampa that day. You know, Adrien, Brandon, and Sarah. Stacey's at the house. Right? There's her car. There's the Starkeys. Hello, Dorothy. Sorry to put you out there like that, but it is what it is. This is the car. Hello. Now, here's what's interesting about this, and I do not like this. And I have not gotten clarification on this, but I did send it. There is some damage to the bumper, or the trunk doesn't close all the way, it seems. It is parked over at the Starkeys, kind of weird. Now, here's what's really interesting about this. There is some taillight damage, or headlight damage, some grill damage. That could be from anything, so don't be like, oh, he's guilty of hitting Michael. I don't know. We don't know that. If he hit Michael anywhere in that neighborhood, the scent would have picked it up because particles disperse everywhere. So don't go there. I see you in the chat. You better stop it. So, however, I was always interested in, why is it not letting me go that one little step? If you zoom in, this used to have a different view, but you can't see it now. This is completely blacked out. I don't know if it's the film, but it looked like a big old shirt was covering it. Maybe because it got hot. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just saying here it is. Okay. Do with that what you will. I am almost positive if this happened on Southwest 8th or 9th Street, somebody would have heard, seen, blah, blah, blah. I don't think that theory holds water right now. I'm checking in chat because I see some capital letters. What did Gaelic say? You think it's amusing for Michael's mother to have to see JD Huff most days? Seriously, that's not what I said. Widow, thank you for clarifying. I'm just saying that would be a positive. The trolling is going to stop, though, Gaelic. Your narrative is great, but I'm not going to sit here. How about this? I'm not going to sit here and be shamed or feel bad about my coverage on Michael Vaughn. I've done a lot. And I support Michael Vaughn. You can support whoever you want. I support Michael. And it will always be that way here. Hey, Archangel. Good to see you. Jeep is going to tell you something. You were on my last freaking nerve. I'm actually not up to looking at your or reading your bullshit today. Good, you know what? If my mods and people in my chat are feeling a certain way and it's really irritating you and taking away from Michael, we just going to get gone, Gaelic. Bye-bye. Go and get. Thanks. Try me. Moving on. Hi, honey. Good to see you. Jeep girl, I hope you're feeling better. Don't worry about it. She gone. Let's continue. I support my peeps. Hey, April. What do y'all think about that, though? Kind of weird. So here it is, September, at least September 2021. We can assume it was there in July. And here it is, all nice and fancy, in December of 2022. Or November of 2022, excuse me. I don't boot people out. I put her in timeout. Did you not see that in the chat, Sarah? For 24 hours. Give her a day to think about her actions. Where is my soundboard?
Never been about that. Never been about playing no shit.
Sure enough. So, what questions do we have about April 2022 onward? What questions do you have about July 27th, 2021? What do you think would make or break this case right now with what Stacy has said? Do you think that there is a feasible, plausible, nailed you, you son of a bitch moment in anything that you have heard so far? And if not, what do you think would, besides the obvious true confession, not the false one? And I'm going to say false confession because here is why it's false, at least partially. He told them, okay, I've had it. You've interrogated me for 5 hours, whatever it is. I've done a polygraph. You want me to say something that you're not showing me the proof? He's in the backyard. Go look. He's in the backyard. He was buried there by the shed. Have fun, which is horrible, a horrible, wrong thing to do. I do not think that it is okay. It's apprehensible. It's gross. And it's wrong. And the scolding was immense. Promise you that. But it's false because did they find Michael? No. So then JDF says, well, because he said that, we believe he was buried and then moved elsewhere. Okay, I want to know when he was buried there. Because that tells me that he may have been alive at some point and then deceased. How long was that? Was he held captive for 5 months? We don't know. Nobody knows. Is there a child abductor on the loose? We don't know. I have yet to see any proof of Adrien having human trafficking charges. I have only seen drug trafficking. Do they go hand in hand? Yeah, they do sometimes. But I don't see that here. I don't. Doesn't mean it can't happen. He is the most criminal out of the four, for damn sure. Adrien is bad dude when it comes to the drugs. He's a menace sometimes, I would say. So what do you think? And check in the chat. It's important. Mr. Eve says, hey, Jeep, by the way. I have never heard of people giving false confessions under duress after... What? That sat funny with me. And also when he said he did so, they get a taste of their own meds. I think you might have misunderstood. Let me clarify this. He was interrogated day after day after day for multiple hours at a time by different entities, different people. And then he said, from my understanding, back off of me, da-da-da-da-da. I didn't do it. Show me the proof. They showed him a timestamp of him at the splash pad at 1:30 p.m. that day. He was going to get the taxi dude from Ontario to Boise, which that's going to be a bombshell here in a little bit, y'all. You're going to have to hang tight on that one. But that's what happened. That's what he said happened. And then he also said after all of that and they dug up the yard, they never came back and talked to him. And they had time. They had a whole year and 2 months. A year and 2 months to go back and say, you son of a lying piece of, right? Okay. And they never did. They never came back from his version of events. Could be wrong, could be a lie. I don't know. But let's just take it for face value. Why wouldn't you go back and say more? Ask more, interrogate more. Egg on their face, perhaps. I don't know. But here's the thing. You have all three of these people intertwining with each other throughout the day, in a sense, or at certain times. Where is it outside of Stacy? Where is the lack of eyewitness from each other, where one wouldn't roll at this point? Why aren't the other three rolling, singing like canaries to save their ass? I feel like Stacey Wondra could be like, if you give me immunity on all my shit, I will tell you all the things. All of them. Especially when they arrested her for failure to report a death, which was the ramblings of a mad woman who was shocked as shit when police came into her house at 9:00 at night and said, search warrant, we have probable cause. With a woman who is schizophrenic, bipolar, who is not taking her meds. And that's not just a theory that I have. This is a theory coming from therapists and psychiatrists and people that are going on platforms that are professionals. Okay? So don't come at me, right? But that was odd. Which one? Just want to make sure I'm understanding what you're saying. I just heard him saying it was 3 or 4 hours of questioning. No, yeah, he at a time. At a time. He said the longest he thinks was 6 hours. It could have been more. And that was when he broke. Allegedly, right? It bothers a lot of people. It bothers me too. That the false confession led to Ellie saying Michael was deceased. Yeah. But he also said, based on evidence, which leave out any DNA evidence or whatever sent to a lab. Let's just go with the circumstantial evidence and the dogs, the scent dog, cadaver dogs. That's enough in Idaho to convict somebody in cases that a tweezle once put into my peepers once, and I appreciate that research. Idaho is a very you're guilty until proven innocent kind of state, from my understanding, allegedly. And picking up a scent on someone's remains, even though they don't have to confirm whose remains they are, has put somebody in the prison system where they may or may not be smuggling things in and out of that said prison. That was a perp slap. Ha. Okay, I'm going to be nice now. But they have convicted somebody on that. But how would they know it was Michael's remains without DNA evidence to back up that cadaver dog hit? They would have to have found Michael deceased, have that smell, have trained that dog to smell that smell to go find it in the yard. So they don't know for a fact that those dogs picked up on Michael. They picked up on whoever or whatever it may be. It could be somebody from 1912. I don't know. Hey, horsewoman, good deal, good deal. I'm not trying to be, and I'm not either, honey, Danny. I'm not trying to be combative. It feels as though you're being a little bit defensive, which I can understand, but no, I'm not being combative. I'm not either. I'm not, I promise you. I'm sassy. A lot of people, I think that that's my problem. I don't mean to be sassy and come off as defensive. I got an attitude about this case, and it is not slighted at anybody unless I tell you this is intentional. So I'm sorry about that. I would like to know if Ellie still believes he is deceased, right? Well, they did say At one point, JD Huff said that, we hope that he is alive somewhere out there, but based on what we know, we believe he is deceased. However, if we're thinking about the false tip or whatever, there might be a chance. And he never stated that he's confirmed he's deceased. They highly believe so. And when you're told that he is somewhere and you're digging for him, JD Huff probably felt it was exactly that. Because why would somebody false confess? Why? And here, I'm just going to be honest. Them not coming back to ask him anything or clarify anything else, and there's no charges. I don't know, y'all. I don't know if there really is enough evidence to convict him in a grand jury. And allegedly it's happened already. Or they tried to get it to happen and it's not happening. They're going to have to have more, which is either actual proof, right? Not circumstantial and not just hearsay and all that crap. There's got to be DNA. There's got to be witnesses. There's got to be some confessions. Or new tactic, start over. Let's start over. Maybe we were wrong. It's okay to be wrong. It's okay to be wrong, especially when it's somebody who may not have done it. You have to be 100%. That's the law. That's the law. How do you feel about Stacy saying he didn't take his false confession back to give them a taste of their own medicine? Again, I was very upset about that. And I said that, he kind of deserves all of the shit that he's getting for that. And he says that he gets it. And he even admitted that. He was like, I understand. All the hate that I get is deserved. Yeah. I didn't think there was enough evidence in the Murdoch trial, even though I felt I did. I knew that MFer was going. Goodbye. And then that whole stint of, trying to get an appeal one, blaming it on somebody that made a book about her experience. No. Mm-mm. Eve, respectfully, the timeline changes. Differences between Brandon and Stacy disturbs me. Christina has unleashed the beast in me with this timeline. Are y'all ready? I think I need about 2 minutes to collect myself, but I'm going to finish reading. Between Brandon and Stacy, it disturbs me. I understand time has passed. Additionally, Brandon going to his mother's twice that day and question. Yeah, I understand. Were they in Nampa or Boise? Nampa. And he has stated that he wasn't sure which one. He just knew that they went to one of those. Right. I'm going to take just a minute to collect my thoughts so that I don't jump off of the crazy train and rant and rave about the timelines, because that is a contention, not with Brandon and the 4 suspects, but with others. So if you don't mind giving me just literally 1 moment to collect my thoughts, because I don't want to be combative and I don't want to be defensive. 1 moment.
Old Michael Vaughan has been missing.
We're back. Thank you for staying. Whew. All right. Mr. Eve said, give Eve just a second. Pull yourself together. We're good. We're good. This is awkward. Yeah, a little bit. So what am I talking about? I think you deserve to know why I had to step away. Because I am True Crime with Eve, but I am also known as True Crime with Evil. And that's because I am the one that has exposed the timeline discrepancies within the family timeline that has been expressed mostly by Brandy Neal herself. It was questioned before I even was a thought or even knew about the case. A la Twitter, now known as X. It wasn't working over there too great. So the YouTubes got a hold of it, and I was part of that. So that's what I'm known for. So drink your water. Why are you telling me to drink my water? Is my mouth dry? Sorry. I am drinking coffee. So I had to I had to hold back from you want to talk about timelines? You know, the whole
Don't play no shit. You feel me?
gator was coming out. The gator was creeping. Ooh, the gator was creeping. But I'm better than that now. So the timelines don't make sense anywhere from anyone, anywhere. And unless you have a receipt that states exactly, when all of these peeps were there or here or there. Here's what we do know. Yes, it has. Yes, that's LaWanda Westbrook's bitch ass, hoe ass, evil looking ass. I will say that all day. I could give two shits about her. But she's the one that, her and CJ and Levelheaded are the ones that are the vein of my existence. Making shit up over there in La La Land. So that's why I'm a little upset sometimes when I hear about timelines. For instance, 911 call 721, we found that out, or I didn't. Twitter folks requested that information. It was allegedly said, no, it was said that 911 was called at 7:04 or 7:05. It was actually 7:21. We don't know why that was such a big contention. There was a lot of timeline changes, things like that. Tyler, being in the back of the drainage ditch, allegedly Brandy going to the splash pad twice, not remembering that. Those things have been an issue. The pizza man and all that, it's been very stressful. So what I'm trying to get at is nobody has a timeline that can be actually verified 100 at all. So you're going to have to look at everybody if you're going to look at the four. And that's what I want to do, y'all. Like I've been saying over and over, we can go into interviews a million times with Stacey Wondra. Without having Sarah and Adrien come on and say, here's my side of things, which is probably, I would like that, but I think it's going to even make it worse. We do know for a fact that Adrien was in Nampa with his family at the Applebee's. There was a screenshot photo of him there. We know this. What was it, 4:47 p.m., 4:47? So they would have to hightail it back and be like, oh, shit, get a to-go box. I got to go kidnap a child. Wrap it up. Let's get the ticket. Okay? So we got to stop this and think, what do we have? What do we know to be true? That is what we know that day. What we also know from Tyler Vaughan is that around 6:30, we'll say, because this is a contentious topic. He went to change buggy, order the pizza, smoke a cigarette in the garage. So he last saw a monkey at 6:30. So 6:30 onward, we have no clue. And we can only go by his word, right? Tyler hasn't said, look at my timestamps, look at this, look at that. Who did I call that day? Who was I talking to? Nobody really wanted to ask, was there somebody around you? Did something happen earlier that day? Where were you? What? No. Tyler was off limits. You could not ask him. He's a soft, cuddly teddy bear, damn it. He's working to provide for our family. Don't you go after my hubby or hubby to be. I'll do it. Brandy took on that front because he's a sissy la, she's the badass. I think that now's the perfect time. If they are in fact guilty, Tyler, let's go. It is your time to shine, buddy, because this is going to be your last chance to speak out. This is your last chance to get your side of the story out. Bob, grandfather, you've already done the interview. I know that they've done interviews and stuff. Do you notice anything now that Stacy has been on panel that you remember now? Did something trigger you? Did you notice any of the things that they have ever spoken about? Meaning Brandon and Stacy. This is your time. Come on. Do it. Do it on, you know what? Do it on Brooks. Do it on Dolly's. Do anything. It is Tyler Vaughan's responsibility to speak on behalf, if he feels so inclined, if they want and believe and truly believe that these four are guilty of something. Come on. What do you know? Do you know anything? Have you seen anything? What do you think? How do you feel? What do you think? Brandy's been winging it on her own this whole time. I think it's way past due. Way past due. I have 3 or 4 questions that might be able to shed some light. 1, Michael was known to wander, play alone, and knock on doors of neighbors looking for playmates. No. He's gotten out, but he has never been known, and I have the recording. I have been kind, and I haven't played any of them. But I certainly could with no backlash at all. I can guarantee you that. Rusty in the back. That's a fact, Jack. And I might. But I know for a fact that per family and the mother, he has never done that. It's so weird. He's never knocked on neighbors. He's never had to. Never. But he has wandered. And depending on what local you speak of, sometimes it's more than is said and sometimes it's not. Eve, who does Tyler know? I don't know. That's why he needs to say. If he does. If there's something that he could do to help, I don't see why speaking out would hurt. He doesn't have to say anything about the investigation and what's to be kept quiet, but my God, give your last hoorah-rah. Give your last go. Because grand jury's coming soon, said J.D. Huff. Nail him if you got it. If there's anything you can think of. Have I tried to speak? Mm-hmm. We're going to get to that one day, but not today. I got to hold off on all of that right now. I think that we're putting heat on Tyler because his timeline was severely off. Yeah, I did that. I absolutely did that. I was part of that after Twitter. And all I wanted was for them to clear their name because, look, Twitter handed them their ass, period. And if you want to stop being looked at, even if people don't say it, they're looking at them. They're looking at the parent sideways, even if they do hashtag Brandy Strong. You rarely see Tyler Strong anymore. They're thinking it. And don't think that we know better or that we don't know better. We do. We know. You can completely support the family 100% and still want to help the community more than anybody who also has to live in question all of the time with no answers And I do get locals saying, I don't feel comfortable with any of this, especially when they don't think that they had anything to do with it before. And they're still wondering and worried. Some people suffer from anxiety, guys. And I'm sure the parents do, my God. But there's a community that has to share this too and live with that too. So if these 4 have anything to do with it, and it took this long, and now we're hearing false confessions, I had proof I was here, there, and everywhere that day. All right, somebody knows something that is going to break this thing wide open and change the entire course of it. This is the actual statistical time. This right now is the statistical time where the case breaks so wide open it's unreal and changes everything and gets justice, or it goes cold. Cold. Statistically speaking. It's time. Like fight. If I can recover from the anxiety and the hate and the bashing and the horrible things that has been said about me and done to me and to the family, this is the time to speak. This is the time. Unless there's a reason you're not. He has already seen a grief counselor with Brandy from the first year interview. He already did that. They've already cleared that up, I think. I hope that they continue to do so if they're not. Anxiety on top of heartache and grief. He doesn't need to speak again. I am not going to put Mrs. Torres on blast because you have every right to feel the way that you feel. He doesn't need to speak. If you agree with that statement, press 1. If you disagree that Tyler doesn't need to speak, press 2. I really want to know what the majority thinks. Do not be afraid to put your opinion out there. I want to know what y'all think. If the majority says he doesn't have to speak or need to speak, cool. What do you think? There's nothing wrong with expressing your opinion. No, he already has for sure. Why does it have to be a 1 or 2 times? And that's what I'm trying to get at. Why does it have to stop just because he's done it once before or twice before? What prevents him from continuing like Brandy does all the time, right? That's what I'm trying to get at. If he should keep his trap shut, okay. I respect that. It would be nice to know why you think that, other than he's already done it, right? He can choose his source to talk to, but he definitely needs to speak, says Daphne. Right. We don't know what's going on behind families' doors. There's a missing child that doesn't get to have the choice of being behind those family doors with his loved ones and his family. So this is where a lot of people disagree with me and conflict with me, because my mind doesn't go towards how was everybody else. My mind goes, Michael, alive, whatever. Michael. Of course, there are people who are struggling because of Michael. I understand that. But that support system is done deal. What's harder is to get justice for Michael and focus on him. That's harder. So I choose to do that. That's just me. That's how I am. Or I wouldn't have searched for missing people. Or I wouldn't continue to do so. That's just me. Cat chats and coffee, play it. What about it? Then why would Huff speak otherwise on the parents? What does otherwise mean? They've been fully cooperative? So here's my thing. And this goes for every and anybody around Michael Vaughan's case. Listen to me clearly. Listen to me clearly. Cleared, suspects, persons of interest, all of those things are PR words. They are not final things. They are not, they could be ever revolving. They could change. They're just PR words. Until charges are filed, that is when it matters. So until they have a video of proving someone did what they did, there is no way anybody could be cleared. It doesn't matter how I feel about them. It doesn't matter if I'm suspicious. It doesn't matter if I hate, love, whatever. That is the facts. No one has been ruled out. No one. And so when you pigeonhole yourself into thinking one way or the other without the finality of the case, there's no ideas being exchanged. There's nothing to talk about. There's nothing to do to help. Discussion is healthy. This is how tips come in. 11% of murders, guys. 11% are solved by police without any public help. A lot of murders are not solved. 50 or 60% of murders that are solved come from tips from the public. And then the remainder never gets solved. So you have a better chance of a public tip through discussions and somebody overhearing someone talk about discussions. Boom, tip. There you go. What's the harm? So speak. Speaking is good. I just don't understand why Huff would say they are not a suspect. He didn't say that. Right, he didn't say that. There is no cleared, not a suspect. They are not a focus of the investigation. That could be taken as cleared. I disagree 100%. JD Huff has even said out of his mouth, I wish we could say they have been cleared, but we can't at this point in the investigation. At one point. And you guys people that are honing in on that fact alone, that want that cleared, change Eve's mind to that they are not to be looked at, is honestly worrisome, because that means you're not listening. You haven't listened to what has been said by officials. You're spinning a narrative, right? I just want Michael to be found and justice to be served properly. However that may be. Again, suspects can be cleared. Cleared people can become suspects. It only matters when that charge hits the courthouse and an arrest has been made, right? Lurking in the shadows. You know, a lot of my lives get derailed by people. This happens every time. So now what we're going to do, I'm going to end this live. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go from the beginning and see if there is any connections that have been missed because we didn't know what we knew then. We're going to go Twitter Spaces. What has been out there already, and just because it's out there already and I play it again is not a, Eve, you're releasing the recordings. No, it's already out there. Don't come for me. I'll come for you. We're going to start from the beginning ASAP right now, because I will not sit here and argue anymore about shit that doesn't matter. I'm done. We're going to go from the beginning. And here we're going to start with, what are we going to start with? The very first thing we're going to do is review the actual footage, film footage from multiple sources. This includes news, drone footage, people that have taken photos on their Facebook, and they may have taken it down, but screenshots. We're going to go through that. The very first, what was seen? What were they doing? Where were the helicopters flying over? What areas? Yeah, we're going to go from the beginning. Maybe, hell, maybe there's footage of, I don't know, Brandon walking down the street in one of them. Or maybe there's footage of Sarah and Stacy arguing outside and they slap each other. Who knows? Maybe there's a clue there. But until we know anything going forward, which I highly doubt anything's going to be coming soon, let's do it. Start from the beginning. Because this, again, is going to be the moment where either Michael gets justice properly and it's the right kind, the actual justice deserved, not a frame job or pin it on somebody or 2 years of pointing fingers at each other and stupid ass charges being dropped like the failure to report a death. Enough. So let's begin. I think it's a good idea too. And if any creator out there can get Adrien or Brandon on, come on. What are you waiting for? But until then, I'm going to keep going and I'm going to keep doing. And the only thing that I know to do is not wait, start over. Get everybody caught up because you were too busy in the Summerwells case anyway. Let's begin. You know, as I say, guys, drink your water, hug yourself, your fur babies, your grandbabies. Let's get justice for these missing babies. They deserve it. They need your support. And I will see you guys on the next live. Have a wonderful weekend ahead. See you on the next live. Bye.
Don't play no shit. You feel me?
Got a head full of spiders in a hat that isn't here. In a room full of lighters, all my demons reappear. Broken cigarettes and bullet holes. One more to the chest and I'm alone. Nothing gets me any higher, and nothing ever will. Tried to stay sober, tried to stay clean. Wake me when it's over, like a bad dream. Mama doesn't call, sister never writes. Bet you they would laugh if I called to say goodbye. No one's gonna worry and notice when I'm gone. No, they won't know I'm missing till they pull me out the mystic.
Nobody cares, Jules. Have a good day, guys.